The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
We'll be talking about fear in relationship.
For some people, the idea of commitment brings on intense feelings of anxiety and an urge for avoidance. What is it about the phrase long term that makes some people become so apprehensive? It's natural to fear the unknown. The uncertainty of what awaits after making a big decision can make us feel unsure about what steps to take next. However, for some people, this uncertainty turns to fear and may make them to not want to make decisions at all. Not all lack of commitment is driven by fear though. Some people genuinely prefer changing jobs often, traveling from place to place, or casually dating. This may be how they have decided to live their lives. A fear of commitment or anxiety around long-term relationships could be linked to early experiences or even trauma. Some may fear commitment because they're afraid of being abandoned, hurt, or betrayed, for example, like they had been in previous relationships. You may have probably seen this situation in some movies. The main character has had their heart broken so many times that they lost hope in relationships, deciding to supposedly just enjoy life without committing to anyone. Usually, there is a turnaround when they find the right person. For example, the movie The Runaway Bride. Maggie, a spirited and attractive young woman, has had a number of unsuccessful relationships. For this reason, she leaves 3 grooms at the altar who watch her running away and gets branded the Runaway Bride by a jaded city journalist, Ike Graham. Ike races to Maggie's hometown to save his reputation and report on her upcoming 4th trip down the aisle, during which he's convinced she will run from yet again. However, Ike cannot help but fall for Maggie. With Ike, will she finally overcome her fear of commitment and say the long-awaited I do? Spoiler alert, this movie has a happy ending, with her getting married to him. A person with commitment issues may sabotage a relationship by completely distancing themselves or creating unnecessary conflict as a means to escape. Commitment is still possible, as soon as a person stops believing the bad press that they write about themselves.
Never forget that behind everything we are watching, there is someone, directing. There is some guidelines they are following in scripts, there are cameras, and if they do something wrong, someone will give them a chance to do, how many times they need to get it right. But in life is not always like that. Actually, in life is not like that at all. It's completely different. You just have one chance for you to make things right. Otherwise, you cannot go back and, and redo things. How many people in life, they would like to have that, shortcut, Command Z or Control Z, Imagine how amazed would be to have this, To imagine just you do something and is that how we call it in Windows? Control Z, or in Mac, Command Z. Oh, how good would be that? But we don't have this shortcut in life. That's why I have to be careful with our choices. I have to be extremely careful with what we do. But before we dive head on this topic, let's go to the streets now and hear from our friends here, neighbors here in Finsbury Park, what they think, what is their opinion about those who are afraid of being in a commitment.
Why do you think people nowadays are afraid of commitment?
Oh, God, that's a
tricky one.
I think expectations are probably too high. People expect too much and don't take their time to get to know somebody else.
And yeah, because of that, because they've got too much options, too much choices, there's no real reason to have a relationship. They feel that that there's something better around the corner, or there's something else that they can explore.
I think they think there's a lot of choice out there and always something better around the corner.
Well, I think some people are, some people aren't. It probably depends on the person. I think that as a culture, we're probably a little bit less vulnerable maybe than we used to. But I think that also there's a lot more choice involved, whether that's like online dating or just like there's so many more options for your clothes, for the way you dress, for where you live, with who you spend your time with, where you'd even go on a date. And I think that sometimes having too many options can be a bit overwhelming, even though it feels great. So I think that people are scared, perhaps, that they might make the wrong choice when there's too many options.
I'm not sure people necessarily are afraid of that. I think most people I meet, certainly my age, we're starting to look for commitment if we haven't already tried to find it many years ago. So I guess it depends what stage you're at.
I feel like the reason why people are afraid of commitment is because everyone feels independent and they just don't want to get into relationships because they're scared of what's going to happen. Me, myself, I'm scared of it as well.
Maybe I'm a little bit afraid of commitment as well, but certainly people I've dated have also been afraid of commitment. I would imagine that there's kind of a basis of that and being afraid of, kind of potentially getting hurt. But I think it's also a lot to do with London. So I think that, dating is a big thing in London. So it's a lot about, is there something better out there?
Nowadays, people are looking for the perfect partner. They go on their phone, they're looking at what person is going to be perfect. And there's no such thing as a perfect partner. You have to meet people, get to know them, and you grow together and you
make it work. It's not like choosing a piece of furniture or something. You can't pick the perfect one, you meet them, and then you kind of grow together through your lives as lives change. That's what it is. You go through the different stages. You have children, maybe you have grandchildren, and it changes all the time.
I'm in my 40s now, and I think most of us have probably got out of that by now. I can't say I align with those thoughts or know that many people that are afraid of commitment. I think once you've got commitment, you might regret it, but that's a different question altogether, isn't it?
The reason why, Pastor Philip, many people, sometimes they are scared of being in a long-term relationship. The problem is not to be in a relationship, because there are people that they are in the relationship that expires, shortly. But when it comes, especially when that's a magical word, marriage. When they hear the word marriage, it's like, kryptonite to Superman. It repels them straight away. But the problem is not marriage. Marriage was never a problem. The problem is what people they are doing in a marriage, because they are getting things wrong. And of course, they're living now and experience the wrong results, the opposite of the essence of what a marriage is supposed to be. They create this preconception, against marriage, thinking that marriage is a problem. But look, we had just in this Vox Pop, that lovely couple giving not only an opinion, but a lecture here about how important it is, because people, they have to understand. I really love what the guy said, the gentleman said. He said, it's not like a piece of furniture. It's something that you have to stand on, you have to work on, you have to make things work. It's not disposable. It's not like, a napkin that you use and you throw away. No, it's something that I have to invest, I have to learn, I have to sacrifice, I have to give, I have to take. It's a piece of work.
If something is not working out, instead of throwing it away or just dispose it, and they should fix it.
Yeah.
A person who is in a relationship, in a long-term relationship, in a marriage, they should not just all right, I can get married with somebody else or I can find somebody else. No, fix it and fix the problems and so on.
Yeah. But look, if we go to the root of the problem of those who are now with this fear of being in a relationship, let's just change the word for a better understanding. This insecurity, because that's the word, insecurity. But this insecurity is actually, the insecurity is the root. And how can you know if you have this root, if the insecurity is rooted in your heart? Is it a way for us to know that? Yes, we prepared here a nice tree, the tree of insecurity, for you to see how it works. Let's show them, please, Shad. Look at that. Usually people that they are really needy, people that are extremely jealous, people that they have low standards, Pastor Philip, people that they have, especially these, low standards, Because when you have a low standards, it's usually people that they have a low standards, either they had a bad experience, but a terrible experience that they are able now to accept anything, or people that they have no reference at all, right?
Yes, Pastor, because the person doesn't know what is good, real good.
Yeah.
So then, like they didn't have experience at all, or didn't have any reference about it, so they don't know what is good.
Yeah.
So then they feel like it's not for me. Those things that we see around and so on, the pastor is speaking, the love therapy, these things are not for me.
So when you see, the tree, let's put a tree again. These are, these things that we put on there, these are the leaves, at the top of the tree. And there are people that are trying to fight against this. What do I do, to change these, complexes, this problem that I can't express myself, people that they are aggressive, and that's a problem of insecurity as well. Yes, people that they're really pride, they have this problem, with pride, they're really proud, so they can't see their own mistakes. People that they have this fear of losing, they are in a relationship and they're accepting, absolutely all kinds of things that they had to reject. Why is that? Fear of losing. People that they're extremely shyness. Yes, shyness is also one of the fruits of insecurity. People that they are always afraid of being cheated on. Yes, this is an insecurity as well. People that they keeps and hides money from their partner. Oh, come on, of course, what is that? That's insecurity. And of course, lies, lots of lies. This is also a sign of insecurity. So these are just some fruits of insecurities. And if you are dealing with one of them, if you have one of these fruits, if you can identify some of these fruits, present in you, you are bearing this fruit, you recognize that you are too needy, you are extremely aggressive, jealous, you are the kind of person that is always dealing with, complexes, you have this difficulty in expressing yourself. You are always, having to creating lies, this fear of being cheated on, and all these things that we already presented. That it is a sign of insecurity. That's a sign of insecurity. And if you are suffering with that, dear friends, let me tell you something. Even if you find, someone that is highly compatible to you, happiness will be something impossible for you. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not here to wish you any bad at all. Not at all. Our intention here is to help you, to share with you the intelligent love. However, you have to understand that for you to be happy in your love life, you have first to work in yourself. One of the biggest problems one of the biggest misconceptions in love life is that thinking that you have to find someone to make you happy. The responsibility of making you happy is yours. You have to you have to be happy with yourself first.
The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.